This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, I should say. It's very late. Eddie Hearn, thank you for hanging around. It is very bright as well. We just watched Callum defend his WBA Ring Magazine titles against John Ryder here.
Is WBA Ring Magazine as well?
Well, there's WBA and Ring Magazine titles, Eddie. It's a bit late to be picky, isn't it? Anyway, down to business. Obvious sticking point will be the scorecards, but all in all, it was a good fight, wasn't it?
Really good fight, and a good performance from John Ryder. I thought it was a close fight. I felt like when I got in the ring that Callum Smith was going to get the victory, but unfortunately I didn't agree with the scorecards, and they sort of magnify this robbery that of what was a close fight. But I thought again John boxed out of his skin, but I thought after 6 rounds Callum was comfortably ahead, and John had a great back end of the fight. So good fight.
Do you think? You said you thought the cards were too wide. Do you think we'd still be having this debate if Callum Smith had got it on a split or something like that? Do you think it could have literally gone either way?
You would have still had people that maybe thought John Ryder, won a close fight, but nowhere near the level of discussions if it was a split decision, or even if it was 115-13 across the board. But it's kind of like if everybody thinks it was close, which they did. We went through the press row, didn't we? 2 to Callum Smith, 2 to John Ryder. But no one had those scores. If we're all watching it and those judges are scoring it like that, why aren't we scoring it like that? I don't know.
A bit of talk about maybe Callum Smith being distracted or whatever else, but do you think that would be a bit disrespectful to take away from the performance of John Ryder?
Yeah, look, Callum's talking about the big fights, he wants the big fights, but still, he wanted to win tonight and he wanted to look good, he trained hard, but John Ryder boxed really well, and it was a sort of career-defining performance for him, and he went out and he's made a big name for himself.
Just to talk about where it leaves both men, John Ryder, as mentioned, ultimately did fall short, but gave a very good account of himself. I heard you mention in the press conference maybe the WBA regulars an option. Where do you think he goes from here?
I think he's in a great position. I think that he put a performance in that gained a lot of fans tonight, and I think Callum Smith, although he probably didn't put the performance in he wanted, a lot of those big names might look at him now and go, oh, actually, I'll fight Callum Smith. So I think they're both in good positions, and I think they both gave everybody a great fight tonight.
Speaking to Joe Gallagher over there about what comes next for Callum Smith, and I spoke to Callum about what he wants. Joe was very determined to sort of put across Saul Alvarez. We want him. We'll travel to America, Cinco de Mayo. I asked him what he thinks is the most realistic big fight, though, and he said Canelo again. Do you see it that way?
More so after tonight. I think his next fight is going to be at 168, and in that case, if it is, he'll fight Billy Joe or he'll fight Callum Smith. So ultimately, Canelo's the boss, and he'll choose who he's going to choose, and we'll gratefully accept one of those.
Isn't Saul Alvarez's Anfield still a real possible option?
No, I don't think he'll come to Anfield, to be honest with you. I think Golovkin would be, the Anfield fight, but we'll see.
Undercard, just quickly, who caught the eye for you? Chris Billam-Smith looked very good capturing the Commonwealth title.
Yeah, I think Chris Billam-Smith was excellent tonight. Good win for him. I'm pleased for him. Nice guy. I thought James Tennyson boxed really well. I think he's going to be a tough fight for anybody at 135 pounds, and I thought he produced a great performance.
Moving away, after Liverpool, you got the Monaco card next week, and then on the big one in Saudi. Be honest with me, have you ever been this nervous going into a big bill?
I've never been this nervous or excited. I mean, it's everything, because it's like, obviously we want AJ to win. It's a massive heavyweight fight. It's the first major fight in the Middle East. It's a brand new stadium. It's all these things. It's going to be a lot of hard work on fight week. But we're breaking down barriers. We're changing the world of boxing, and we can't wait for an epic event in Saudi Arabia.
Eddie, it's about 1 a.m. I'm sure you're ready to get away, so we won't go any longer. But thank you as always. Speaking of Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.